Russo Italiano sponsors Boxing Bros UK.
It's showtime!
Yeah, go for it.
Boxing Bros UK. I am the boss, Chris. This is my co-host, Andrew, the Boxing Brain. And the topic for this video, Jimmy TKV versus David Adeleye.
The controversy.
It was a stinker. Oh my god!
Oh.
Like that, but after watching that TKV's fight, I knew it was going to be this kind of way because that's his style. David Adeleye said, "I've sparred Jamie many times. That's his style. He makes it messy." And fair play to TKV, he had a clean sweep, mate.
I thought he did all right.
He won every single round for me.
Yeah.
He was landing more. He was outlanding him. He was hurting him. He was tying him up so he couldn't get his shots off. He was making it ugly. But on the other hand, David Adeleye, he just wasn't. He doesn't getting his jab off. Obviously, we can say Jamie was making it difficult for him to get his jab off with his spoiling tactics, coming in with his head. So he was wary of that. Not fucking the fight stopped or get a dangerous cut from a headbutt. Because if that fight got stopped from an illegal blow, Jamie would have won. You know, if he gets stopped time, and I think that Jamie was trying to do that. Actually, trying to cut him with his head because he kept going in with his head every time. And it's just, I just think Adeleye wasn't setting any traps, or he wasn't letting his jab go. He was just trying to hurt him. And luckily, he hit him on the break. And his power is devastating, as we can see.
He does, yeah.
So he landed that shot, a sucker punch, because it was on the break. But
it's true.
Like you mentioned earlier, that Jamie, he was doing it to David Adeleye on the break. So, and when he got it back, he got fucking knocked out. So that's karma, baby. What can you say?
I think, I looked back at it, and I know there's been a lot of back and forth on this in social media, people taking one angle, and you're always going to get that. I think it was in round 2 or 3. TKV did it to him, and David Adeleye just switched off. You could see it switched off and then got caught, and then you could see him get really razor focused. So he might have kind of processed that, downloaded that, and thought, "Oh, okay, we're going to fight like this, are we? Okay, right." That could have been in his mentality. I think you said some interest. I think it was about rounds 4 or 5. They did. I don't know if they used the CompuStats CompuBox stats. And David Adeleye had threw something like 60 punches, by that point. And I was watching it with Josh, who's good mates with David Adeleye as well. And I was sort of saying to Josh, what's the game plan here? And he said, I think this is the strategy. They've sparred a lot. He's waiting for him to do his work, and he's waiting for an opportunity. And we were sort of screaming at the TV. Like, all of us were sat there going, fucking do something, Big D. Like, do something. Like, just weren't putting any shots together, and TKV was kind of had that decent kind of jab, an unusual jab. Was just it's quite fast hands, jabbing and falling in, a lot of clinching. He was trying to spoil them, and then I think the crowd started to boo. David Adeleye was really reactionary, wasn't he? He was always reacting to what TKV was doing, but I'm assuming, because he said after, like you said earlier anyway, that's what he knows, what his style is, and that was the tactics. And he said something interesting as well. He said his corner always have a go at him for getting carried away and getting carried away and throwing too many punches. So that was quite telling as well. So maybe he was purposely trying to be a bit more cautious.
And as well, to be fair, the rules of boxing is protect yourselves at all times.
That's right.
So I know even if the ref says, right, come on, like split it up, lads, you kind of got to be ready for that, because some people, and if you know he's a dirty fighter, you got to be ready for it, So one of them, and if you keep hitting someone on the break like Jamie did, they're going to do it back to you eventually, because that's the only way. They can't, because the ref's going to take a point, but you're still in the ring fighting. So to stop him from doing it, do it back to him, and it backfired, and he got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, it was a bit. What I was going to ask you something on it. It wasn't the great. This is sometimes what happens, stylistically, and and they get in there, and it just didn't blend too well. I was actually quite surprised with TKV. I actually thought, until that incident and controversy, I actually think he was doing well. He was winning most of the rounds, edging it, certainly throwing a lot more shots. I didn't like him keep jabbing and grabbing all the time. It was like fucking reincarnation of Lawrence Okoli in there sometimes. It wasn't pretty to watch. Where do we... I mean, look, maybe they'll rematch. Jamie will come again. I know his corner were incensed about that. You could see after the fight.
And Davis
and David Adeleye said, look, mate, he said some interesting points after that fight. And he said, look, people keep writing people off when they lose. He can come again. People write. I think he might have alluded to the fact that he was being written off. I'm not sure. We do tend to do this. That's it. They're no good. Where is David Adelaye's ceiling, do you think, Chris? Because it's hard to place where he's at the moment. I don't know if we know too much more since the Wardley defeat and the Solomon Dakers and TKV wins. I don't know if that gives us any more indication as to where he's at. When we look at Moses Atoma, Ajit Kabiel, Jagba, Bacoli, not even to mention the kind of Dubars and Usyks. He's 28 now, so he's still relatively young. Still some things to work on. Where is he at? Where's he at, Chris? Where's he go next?
For me, the best fight for David Adeleye to take next is Fraser Clark, for sure.
Oh, that's not a bad one. Oh, that's if Clark can beat Ebenezer Tete, of course.
Yeah, like for real.
That's a good fight. That's a good fight.
For me, that will test that if he fights someone like Fraser Clark, or even Fraser Clark, that will really give us an idea of where he's at. Because you can't always do it because stars make fights, but you can have a general idea of his performance against Fraser. What level? But
he won't be able to do that again because Fraser Clark has got decently fast hands and was a brilliant amateur. And if he does, I'm sure he wouldn't, but if he does that kind of counter-punching reactionary style, Fraser Clark will just unanimous decision him.
He'll jab his head off. He'll just jab his head off and move around.
Yeah, and I think that fight's an interesting one because David Adeleye will have to fight. He'll have to, because I don't think he's a better boxer than Fraser Clark. In fact, I'm almost pretty sure he's not. But he's got dynamite of a left hook and he's got very heavy hands. So he's got to try and, like what Wardley did to Clark, he's got to go in there, quicken up his feet, get close, get in the centre of the ring and just go in there and try and take his head off. That's what I think he'd have to do against Clark to win.
If I was Adeleye, I would defend the Lonsdale belt 3 times and win it outright and then move up. I have 3 British fights like a Fraser Clark, even fucking, I don't know, rematch Jamie fight. So these young guys coming up,
I wouldn't mind seeing it. I know it was not a very good fight. I know obviously the controversy and all the rest of it, but I think maybe TKV deserves a rematch. I don't know how many people want to see it because it wasn't great, but he probably does deserve a rematch. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. It's gone out of my head. Can't have been that important.
Yeah. So, and for Jamie, if he don't get the rematch with Adeleye, I reckon he should go for I don't want to see the fight, but for him, the level, Solomon Dakers, fight him.
Yeah. I mean, little bit of a rebuild, maybe Solomon Dakers. Even someone like a Vianello, someone like that who just come. I think he's coming off a losses off to Torres Jr. I think those kind of top in and around the top sort of 20. He's got something about him, TKV. I think he's quite exciting in the build-ups. His style's not particularly exciting, but
he's got a fast jab, and he's all right.
He's got skills. Good trainer. Got Ben Davidson in there, hasn't he?
Yeah. So I just think, So for him, he can come again. Needs to do a rebuild, have a few fights, and David Adeleye. But I really like the Fraser Clark fight. I would love to see that because I just want to see what kind of level Adelaye's at because Wardley too much, so he took a step. But now he's out of rebuild. I want to see what's he learned when he steps it up against someone who's at a high level where it's a 50-50 fight, you know?
Yeah, no, again, or again, maybe putting those names in the hat again, your Dave Allens, your Johnny Fishers, maybe, you know, giving them all of those, because that, you know, because let's say Dave Allen gets the job done, right? I don't know, that's a bit of a 50-50 for me. I mean, Dave Allen would have another shot at because the British, well, I wish I should have known this, the British title was on the line. Of course it would have been, of course, because it was vacated by Wardley. But imagine that as a little build-up. Oh, Dave Allen gets another chance when we all thought it was lost. Another shot at the British title against the heavy-hitting David Adeleye. I can see it now. I can see it.
That would be a good fight. And I think as well, Dave Allen, that's his mission. He wants to win the British title, defend it outright 3 times, and then he said he's going to retire.
Fairy story. Yeah. Fairy story that would be. But look, Chizore's mandatory for the IBF strap, so anything's possible.
Anything's possible in boxing. You're only 1 punch away from victory.
One good win, yeah.
Good win, right. So that's it from us.
Like and subscribe. Share.
Subscribe, guys. Boxing Bros UK.